Hello, and I welcome you to this section of our informed choices and better and effective decision making capabilities under our Millennial Growth Blueprint. Now, today in this module, we are going to talk about the 5 WHYS technique. Now, what is this 5 WHYS technique? Now, 5 WHYS technique in the previous module, as you have heard, is a technique wherein you can use the question why for 5 times to get down to the core or the root cause of any kind of situation or a problem that you are into right now. So why is it 5 and not just 1 why or 3 whys or maybe 9 whys for that matter? Why is it just 5? Well, it is seen in research studies that when you ask this question of why to any kind of situation, 9 times out of 10 you actually get down to the root cause. Maybe within the 5 whys in itself, maybe it takes just 4 whys or 3 whys. Many a times it takes just 5 whys to reach to the core or the root cause of any kind of problem. And once you start to do that, you are going to get an understanding as to what is actually the cause hidden behind any kind of a situation or a problem that you're facing right now. Now, in this module, we are going to discuss upon this 5 WHYS technique. You can use it for your any kind of problem that you land into or any kind of situation you are into, and then finally take a effective decision to cater to that problem. Okay, so let's start off with an example. Now, here is an example of a problem of a person who is not able to receive a payment from the client. Now, the problem statement says that client refused to pay for the printouts for them. Now, this is an example from a printing house actually, wherein when they delivered the printouts or the leaflets or whatever it is, the clients refused to make the payment. Now, why did they refuse the payment? Now we have the what. What was the problem? Because once they had completed the job, they were not receiving any kind of payment. So they started to ask this or implement this 5 WHYS technique. Now, the first question here, when they asked why did this happen, it said that the delivery was late, hence the leaflets could not be used in the first place, hence the clients refused to pay the money. Then again there was a second why that was asked on this question. Why was the delivery late actually? The job took longer time than usual, which is why it was late, and it was received late by the client. Now, why did the job was done late when every time it was working, when the operations are working? Why? We ran out of printer ink. So that was another answer, that was another problem that was coming into the picture. So they ran actually out of the ink. Okay, then when the fourth why, when it was asked, the answer was the ink was used in some other immediate last minute order, which is why the ink actually got exhausted and this order could not be prepared on time. Now, why did this ink actually got out of stock, or what was the problem? So what they said was, we didn't have enough ink in the stock and could not order new supplies. Now, once they reached to the rock bottom of the problem as to why they were not receiving the payment from the client's end, they actually got an understanding that their stock was actually exhausted, because of which they could not complete order. So they had to, what the end goal was, so the countermeasure that needs to be taken or needed to be taken, that finding an ink supplier who would deliver at a short notice. So when this final why was asked, it was found out that there were hardly any ink left inside the stock, and since they had already ordered the ink did not land on proper time, which is why all these delays had been created. Now let's look at what the countermeasure needs to be once this problem was found out. So what the countermeasure was, to find out an ink supplier who could deliver inks at a shorter duration, in a shorter period of time, at short notice, at the same time, so that they could minimize their inventory, also reduce the waste and respond to customers on a prompt basis. So this is how, using this 5 WHYS technique, a printing office actually got an understanding of where the problem actually lied. Was it with the logistics? No, it was not. Was it with the operations? No, it was not. It was actually a problem of inventory management. So they took an action to manage the inventory before they could actually jump on to anything else. So that is where the actual problem lied, instead of the logistics part, which was considered to be one of the major issues here in this problem. So that is how the 5 whys technique actually works. So now when you start to implement this 5 whys technique inside of your daily routine or inside of your organization, when you land up in any kind of situation, this is actually going to help you find out the root cause of any problem and then subsequently find the answers or the countermeasures to come out of those kind of situations or problems. So I hope you had a great learning about this 5 whys technique in this module. I too had great time explaining about this entire example and topic, and it has been helping me a lot lately with the same kind of measures. Even I myself am using this kind of a technique on a daily basis. I've been using this kind of a technique, and it is helping me to find out the root cause of things that I was considering were never existing in my daily routine. Well, that's all for this module. I hope you had a great learning. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye now.